Flipping his Stroud. Fires middle of the field, wide open. That's Nico Collins. Ball fumble. The ball came out and the Jags have it. The ball came out and Devin Lloyd has it. It was a fumble and went right to Devin Lloyd. And the Jags take over. What a gigantic play by the Jaguars defense. They give it to Travis Etienne. Picks his way to the 5. He's going to walk into the end zone. He walked into the end zone. A 10-yard touchdown run. And the Jags have taken the lead with 1:48 to play in the game. He gets hit as he let it go. The ball's floating up there. The ball is picked off. The Jags, I believe it, picked it off. The Jags have picked it off. The Jags have picked it off. They take over at their own 4-yard line. What a play. They hit him as he let it go. It was picked off. Antonio Johnson has the pick.
Defense kept us in it, and they played their tails off offensively, found a way to have 75 yards rushing in the second half, which obviously we didn't have much in the first. Etienne played his tail off, and then those guys make a play at the end of the game versus zero blitz, and it got it, in a huge moment. So very proud of this group. They played their tails off and kept competing.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome into another Check the Tape Tuesday. Second time this year. We're looking at victorious tape for your Jacksonville Jaguars. We'd love for you to be a part of the program today, so you can send along your questions for Jeff Lageman. I'm Mike Dempsey, along with Tony Smith. And Logs, guys, Monday Night Football, pretty good game last night. Wrapped up the week, and here we go. The Baltimore Ravens and Kansas City Chiefs going head-to-head in Week 4 for the right to go 1-3. One of them, unless they tie.
1-3.
Unless they tie, one of them's going 1-3. And who knows, maybe the Jags go on the West Coast and improve to 3-1. Jeff, good morning. How are you?
Doing very well.
The game was simultaneously beautiful and ugly this week. Always beautiful when you win, but there weren't, some aspects of it that weren't as aesthetically pleasing, but we're happy about the final score. So let's start where we typically do with Trevor Lawrence and another bevy of drops among his pass catchers or potential pass catchers this week. But in general, what did you see from film on Trevor?
Okay. He's got to be more accurate, I think, overall. And obviously his guys got to help him out a little bit. But there was still some plays that he made in that ball game that were just, really good. Like the moment, the big play to BTJ, that's a can play where you start out with a run and then he changes the play, but then he also checks the protection perfectly because every guy that was coming on this cover zero blitz, which a lot of people say, well, what is a cover zero blitz? Cover zero blitz is when the defense sends everybody after the quarterback and they're having one person cover one wide receiver across the board. So there's no safety sitting back deep playing center field or anything. So if you get a guy free, it can be a big, big play like it was for Brian Thomas Jr., but you got to get the protection set right, and he set it beautifully. Everything was picked up great. Etienne makes the nice block on the outside. Everybody's got, man for a man, and it's a big play.
Yeah, it was, and it was a big play for Brian Thomas at that point as well.
And I think that the tone of the game and really the message that I got from that game was this team is different. I think in years past, this might have been a game where you would say, as a team would be like, oh, here we go again. And I think as fans, we're kind of trained into that mindset a little bit. And I give this team credit, because there were so many different moments of individuals in the team being resilient. You think of Brian Thomas Jr. He had 3 drops in the ball game, lost his swagger a little bit, and then he makes arguably the biggest offensive play in the game. And Tyson Campbell gets smoked on a double move. Comes back, the last defensive stand that they have, he has a huge pass breakup on Nico Collins, and then he causes the fumble on Nico Collins. So those are the things that I think make you feel really good about where this football team is at from a psychological standpoint.
It was very similar, Tony, we were talking about yesterday to last year in the opener, right? Mm-hmm. When you had the fumble, this time you had Trevor Lawrence throwing an interception. Very next play, you get hit over the top for a big touchdown. And last year you were still winning. This year it tied it up. But, it could have, if this team wasn't mentally tough enough, could have killed him right there.
If the team from last year were playing in that game,
oh goodness,
on the interception and then the big play, it would have been over. It would have been a runaway Texans win.
It became, we do our keys to victory every Friday on the show, and we got to a point where somebody that was doing a key to victory at some point, once it became clear that that's who that football team was, the key was when the situation comes up in this game, can they overcome it one time? Like, can they overcome it one time? And
how many times?
Right. Like, after the way things went against the Bengals, and they play a game where they had 5 or 6 different ways to win it, the Bengals had one, everything worked out that way, for the Bengals that week. It's how are they going to deal with that? Because we saw how teams in the last year and a half have dealt with that here in Jacksonville. And there's a lot of the same guys on the field. You mentioned Tyson Campbell wasn't off the field for all that stuff that was going on last year, right? He was a part of that kind of thing. And to watch him bounce back specifically, like Brian Thomas Jr., I think we're still waiting on him to really come out of the weeds, whatever's going on with these drops with him. But hopefully, there's at least the hope that big play can get him back on track with what's going on, but I don't think there's any way.
Yeah, you hope it's a launching point, for Brian. But also another resilient point that I would bring up is that in the first half you were getting stuffed. I mean, Texans were playing really good run defense, but to be able to stick with the play calling and to stay with the runs, and then eventually to find the runs that are working for you, I think that's a great example of good coaching. Another example of great coaching is at the end of the game when all of a sudden the Texans let you go in and score. And Liam, they'd already thought about that whole thing in the broadcast. I was saying, is that the right thing? I don't know, because now you're going to maybe give the Texans too much time. Mm-hmm. And, Liam, in his press conference yesterday, I loved listening to him talking through it because he literally walked us through the whole thought process. Yeah. And they knew what the scenario was, and they talked about it. And that's, to be able to have kind of that whole mechanism in place to be able to be prepared for that moment. And then when it happens, to be able to deal with it in the proper fashion, I thought was really good. As he explained yesterday in his press conference, I think he said it would have been about 55 seconds. It might have been less than that, and it might have been even less than that if you gain a first down and then you go in and score or whatever, depending on how many first downs you could get there. But it's good to see a young coach kind of go through that. I think the only mistake that he made in that ball game was when he used the timeout and then he decided to kick the field goal. Yeah. You kind of ice your own kicker there. Yeah,
I thought in that moment when they called the timeout, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I wonder if they go for it coming out of the timeout just because of the weirdness, right, of the situation. Now they wind up kicking it, he misses. Everything happens the way that it happens. But it is nice to have a coach that in those kind of the things that you can explain, like we just saw Cohen explain. The coach last year said you wouldn't understand it. I could tell you about it, but you wouldn't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. You're not smart enough to understand that.
My good, this is not that complicated.
By the way, the missed field goal on Cam Little, Ross Matisic's got to get his snaps better on field goals. The location of them are not good.
Yeah.
He's putting them real tight. And fortunately, Logan Cook is really good. I mean, arguably the best holder in the National Football League. And I remember when Joe DeCamillis was here, who is arguably one of the best special teams coaches in NFL history. He's also the son-in-law of Dan Reeves, married Dan Reeves' daughter. Was here for a long time, I think 2 different tours of duty. And he told me, he said, he's the best holder I've ever been around. And he's been around the game a long time and watched the film on a lot of holders. And so, fortunately, Logan's been able to handle it. It didn't impact the miss, but that's, I think, something, if that's a little bit off in the operation, I think it also maybe affects the thinking of a kicker in some situations.
You got to rush or whatever.
Do I need to delay it a second?
Yeah.
Is it going to be okay? I mean, that's something you don't want your kicker even thinking about.
All right, well, today we can think about that if you want to. Cam Little doesn't have to join us in that thought process. But if you've got a question or a comment about Jaguar football, specifically a question for Jeff, join us today on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines at 641-1010. Same number for the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can post up in the YouTube virtual studio and chat away in there and give us your thoughts. You can stream us on Twitter. You can stream us on Facebook, or you can find us on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
Just a question. Did D-Rock plan the trip to the West Coast to try and get out of buying breakfast for us?
I don't know.
Because he ain't getting out of it.
No.
I'll tell you that.
He's got to figure it out.
Loser.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Zay Flowers. Or thank you, Lamar, for not throwing it anywhere near Zay Flowers all night last night. That was a beautiful thing. All right. We are ready to go. It is a Check the Tape Tuesday. Jeff Lageman is in studio with us, so let's break it down. That Jaguar film with a 17-10 win over the Texans in the rear view. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. Look, I understand, and so does Apex, that roofs can be very expensive. That's why Apex offers up to 100% financing to make sure that your budget doesn't get in the way of your safety and your home's protection. Rainy season is no joke. If your roof's got damage, if it leaks, if it's just plain worn out, contact Apex. They're going to take great care of you. As I said, locally owned and operated in Jacksonville Beach. Online at apexroofingfl.com. That's Apex Roofing and Contracting.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. From the huddle to the perfect spiral.
We invite you into the lab so that you can truly learn the quarterback position.
The quarterback whisperer. He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drip. Wrapped up by George Moore Chevrolet and Tyson Sound and Security on 1010XL.
Hey, Duval, here's your chance to be face-to-face with the Jags as they take the field on game day. Jump in the shadows and experience the Jaguars like never before. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows for your chance to be part of the action. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C., 18 and older. Entry periods for the sweepstakes are from 8/4/25 to 12/21/25. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, N.A. member FDIC.
Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Protected by Shillington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Hey, Hicken here. Celebrate the month of September with our friends at Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 plus the 4th room free. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning as well. Book online at zerosjacksonville.com and take advantage of these huge savings.
Hop in. I'm driving. I'm Lauren Brooks, and I'm behind the wheel as we cruise down Lawrence Lane in search of the day's most talked about sports stories. Driven by Mazda at the Avenues, 2 to 4 weekdays on 1010XL.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. With over 1,600 5-star Google reviews, it was a no-brainer to have Closets by Design help us get organized at home. They create custom storage solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms and more. Closets by Design will transform clutter into seamless organization. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation. But only until September 30th. 18 months financing is available. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Cool air and clean air. Getting out from under that Florida sun and cooling off inside is where Florida Home AC shines. Think about it. You spend a lot of time indoors and air quality is crucial to your health and comfort. Pollutants like dust, pollen, germs, and allergens can build up, affecting your well-being. Florida Home is dedicated to enhancing your indoor experience with superior air quality solutions like whole home air purification systems. Find out by logging on to FloridaHomeAC.com or call 877-4300.
Hey, Niall Lawrence Stample, national champion and owner of NLS Cleaning here, where we offer pressure washing, gutter cleaning, and paver sealing, plus window cleaning. Football season is back. Get 20% off your first service when you mention this ad through September 30th. Call 708-8802.
Hacker here. And this past week during the 5th quarter, I had a listener come up to me and say that my story about Awaken 180 weight loss, my journey with Awaken 180 weight loss, had inspired them. And they made the call to Awaken 180 weight loss. They were beginning the program that they hoped would change their life much as it has changed mine. Awaken 180 weight loss has changed my life for the positive. And I love that I can tell people about Awaken 180 if you need to lose weight like I certainly needed to. And if my story inspires inspires you to make the call, it'll be the best call you will ever make. It's the best weight loss program I've ever been on. The coaching you get, the guidance you get is absolutely spectacular. Take it from somebody that lost over 100 pounds on Awaken 180 weight loss. If it's time for you to regain control of your life, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. Guys, if I can do it, you can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Kit on 1010XL.
All right, Logs, a lot of questions for you here to get rolling. First off, as we get into our second segment of the show, how did Travis Hunter look on your film study this week?
I thought defensively he looked really good. Had a couple really nice physical plays on defense. I think arguably the most physical game that he's ever played. On offense, there's some things that he's got to kind of get down. I think there's times you can see that he's not sure, and they had to burn a timeout on that one play. Some issues getting lined up. I know kind of the week before when you have those illegal motion penalties or whatever, I think some of that was on him. They should have been called for an illegal motion penalty on another play in that game, but they let him go for whatever reason. But I thought he was good. The one play that really impressed me was the catch and run. It's like, that's what we've been waiting for, right? You know, to make a guy miss and then to get up the field, make another guy miss. That was impressive, but defensively, he's the best corner you got. I mean, he plays sticky man coverage. He's playing solid zone. He can relate a little bit better. But the way that he played that game in a physical fashion, I think it was his best game yet, but he's still got to get some of the things down on offense a little bit more kind of without any mental effort, so to speak.
All right, well, here's our first question along those lines for you from Bush Drive Rich. He says, with the uncertainty of De'Ami Brown, and we don't know, Liam Cohen didn't provide an update yesterday on that yet, do you think it's time for Travis Hunter to step in and be a full-time starter on both sides of the ball, or do we elevate and sign another receiver to fill in for Brown's reps? And B, do you think Travis can handle that at this point?
Can he handle that? Yes. I think you also this week have a little bit of a luxury on defense because you got Monteric Brown back. And Monteric was active for that game, I believe, but he didn't play snap on special teams, defense, or anything, which was kind of surprising. But he's been looking really good in practice. I think he's ready to go. I think you can have him play maybe a few more snaps on defense to allow a little bit more freedom to have Travis dedicate some time on offense this week with De'Ami Brown. And that's, I think, the luxury of having a guy that can play two ways is that you can kind of slant the plays to one side or the other based on need.
Yeah, and this is, depending on who's healthy, this is not a team that scares you with their outside guys. Juwan Jennings is a good player, right? But he's not anything in the Jamar Chase ilk or anything close. He's not Nico Collins. Let's put it that way, right? I mean, he's a very solid player. Don't know if he's going to be able to go. Didn't practice at all last week. We do know Nick Bosa won't be playing as he tore an ACL and he's out for the year.
Feel bad for him, man. That's the second time.
Well, but you look at what the Niners are going to be missing from what they expect to have. George Kittle already on IR. Ayuk we knew would be out at this stage of the season, but Bosa, possibly Jennings, and I expect Purdy to play, but
so do I.
It's not 100% certainty that he plays. Never know on that. And Mac Jones got injured this week as well. So, I mean, this is about as beat up a 49er team this early in the season as you could hope to be facing.
Yeah, they're kind of going through a little bit of a rebuilding phase, I think you would call it. You know, look at the number of draft picks that they've kept over the last couple years, and especially this year, the number of draft picks that they have on their active roster. It's kind of in a state of transition. But definitely, I mean, when you're missing top-end players, I mean, Bosa's a game wrecker. I mean, absolute game record. They do have 47. I'm trying to think. They got in trade with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Huff.
Thank you. A good player, very active off the edge. So he's a guy I think that you're going to have to make sure that you know where he's at. And then they have the first-round pick, defensive end, Michael Williams, who looks like he's got some nice things to his game. and of course, one of the best middle linebackers in the game. So, I mean, they still have some premium parts to their game. But like you said, I mean, they're missing a lot of them, and that's good for you.
Yeah, this week against Houston, every time they drop back C.J. Stroud in the pocket, I was watching the game going, what are they doing? Like every time they did it, because their tackles couldn't win. Basically on either side. They weren't blocking either of the Jaguars guys. And I think the matchup this week against San Francisco, even with all the injuries they're dealing with, that's an offense and a coach that is very comfortable with playing a game of snap it, drop back the 2 steps, 3 steps, throw it. Like, I think the thing that has been hurting the Jaguars early in the season has been the quick pass game from opponents. And I think when they drop back, it's going to be more to set up the screen for McCaffrey than it will be trying to get anything going downfield. And I'm curious how the Jaguars are going to be able to match up with that when I think that's going to be the complete game plan for the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, and the 49ers have pretty good tackles. I mean, arguably a Hall of Famer at left tackle.
Neutralize a little bit,
Colton McKivitz at right tackle is a good player. And the Jaguars' defensive ends are their strength, I think, on defense, and they played really good games. I thought this past game, I thought Josh was a monster. I mean, he was just making play after play, and then the play that he made at the end to be able to get the back of the ball. And, you know, and that's, I think, a real special trait about Josh is that, first of all, the effort and the strain that he plays the game with, and he's been in the corner on the rookie who he was given a fit with all game. And then a lot of times you reach out there and you're trying to knock the ball loose, but, I mean, he kind of regains his footing and then lunges and catches the backside of that ball, and it flutters up to where Antonio Johnson can make the interception. I mean, it's just it's a big-time play at a big-time moment, and that's why you pay Josh all that money. He's making some hay in that category.
Yeah, that was a nice catch by Antonio Johnson. That was no gimme.
And that's a guy, you know, we talk about perseverance. I mean, he's a guy last year that they started at the beginning of the year and got demoted multiple times, I think, as the year went on, and then came into camp this year trying to earn a spot back. And opportunity presented itself in that game. Because of some of the things that they did with the roster leading up to that game. And when he has an opportunity, he makes one hell of a play. He also had a really good play earlier in the game where he comes up on a run fit and just, I mean, smokes the running back in a big way, and big hit, I thought. So I'd like to see that out of him because, you know, he's kind of that next guy in now at safety.
Players are allowed to get better. Andrew Winger was not a very good player when he was on the field his rookie year, right?
Well, he's a good football player the last couple of years, and I was kind of surprised he never really got the opportunity to start. He did have the injury, though. I mean, that kind of slowed him up a little bit, but he's a good football player. I think he's really helped settle that back end down, and communication is so much better with him in the background and Eric Murray together back there. You know, it's one of the reasons why that they have 3 takeaways in every game. I mean, it's just been really fun to watch.
I don't think we can talk about all the pieces of the secondary that we have and not get to who I think is playing the best of all of them. That's Jordan Lewis.
He's stud.
Right, and the plays that play he made on the pick, I mean, we just haven't seen Jaguars corners make that kind of play very often here in the last 10 years. Basically, like maybe when AJ and Jalen were out there playing together, maybe the last time that we saw that kind of thing happening ever, but that play, unbelievable.
Well, it was a good play because he, first of all, he was doing his job. And that's the one thing you have to do to be able to make plays in the league. You got to do your job as part of a system. And that's the thing that everybody on the defense is doing very well right now. They're working hard to do their job. But CJ got fooled. You know, and that's one of the things knocks on CJ right now is that he's struggling to kind of digest the offense and struggling to execute the offense, and he can be confused. And on that play, I thought he's probably thinking that it's man, and it's not. It's a zone, and Jordan Lewis just falls off from his zone back and underneath of the play and makes a big-time play and at a key moment. You know, and he has been so good. I mean, I'm talking so good on the field of play, but I think he's also been so good in the locker room. I mean, when you get elected captain, just like Hainsey, you get elected captain when you come into a new locker room and you've never been there and you have no connection whatsoever. You know, I mean, you might be able to understand a little bit if like a guy like Smoot who's returning be elected captain, but you got a complete stranger coming in and he gets that kind of respect to where he gets voted as a captain and his performance is way up here. I I mean, it's just been impressive to watch. And if there was ever such a thing as a home run in free agency, James Gladstone hit it.
Yep. It's been a good one so far. No doubt about that. He was definitely under consideration for our player of the game on the post game this week as well. Logs, I think you've addressed this a little bit today, but
who got your player of the game, by the way?
Josh Hines Allen.
Yeah.
Got mine. Freddie gets the vote and a half. I told JP I'm going to vote for Jordan Lewis. Like, this is halfway through the fourth quarter. I said, if we win this game, Jordan Lewis is player of the game. And then I felt like that changed with the play by Josh Hines Allen. He had a good game. They're both, fantastic. So JP voted for Jordan Lewis. I voted for Josh Hines Allen. Fred gets a vote and a half. So he can outvote either one of us.
Who'd he vote for?
Brenton Strange.
That's a good vote, too. So, the other guy I think that would deserved serious consideration and might be my player of the game is Devin Lloyd.
He had a good game.
Monster
No
game.
question about it.
And not only did he have a great performance on defense, but his contribution on special teams was strong as well.
This question on the text line says you guys have referenced the curious love that Pro Football Focus has given for Devin Lloyd previously, and it has been curious, right? Like, he grades out so highly, and we see the mistakes and the flaws. So what do you see different in Devin Lloyd's usage from last year? The person texting in says, I think it's unfair just to, put it down to being a contract year. The defense coordinator last year was abysmal, and I think they're playing him to his strengths more this year. Do you, Jeff Lageman, agree with that?
I do, and I think a lot of that credit goes to Devin Lloyd because he's been working incredibly hard. The knock on Devin has been in past years is that he'll have MEs, mental errors, or breakdowns. And that's really held him back. And the other thing I think that's held him back is the proper usage of Devin Lloyd. Last year they tried to pump him up to 250 pounds, and that's just not his game. One of the things that he did at Utah coming out was go forward. He was a really good guy off the edge. He's kind of a sub rusher, but it's not who he can be. He can't be a guy that lines up as an edge rusher, but he can be a very talented blitzer, which we saw in that game, him being utilized in that fashion. There was one play that was really a thing of beauty, and it was the one that Trayvon got the sack on. And a lot of people don't quite understand the concept, but I'll explain it. So Devin, as a linebacker, is trying to pick the tackle. So the back is in the backfield, and the back's responsibility is to block the linebacker, Devin Lloyd. So when the ball is snapped, Trayvon goes up the field. He's a right end on this one. Goes up the field, and so Devin is coming on a blitz, and the back is looking at Devin. Well, Devin's responsibility is to hit the inside hip of the tackle. And then when the back stays on him, he's hitting the tackle. Trayvon steps and comes underneath, and he's supposed to be free. And then Devin also, after hitting the hip of the tackle and then working his way outside, can also get in on the action. But his primary responsibility is to knock the hip of the tackle to free Trayvon coming underneath. And Devin did a great job of that. Trayvon doesn't make the sack, or Devin doesn't make the sack when he had the opportunity because Trayvon got a little bit too far inside, and then Trayvon recovers and makes the sack. But that's another outstanding play by Devin, and one of many in that game.
Yeah, and that's one that goes unrecognized by 99% of people, the way that plays out. He's been very good.
The biggest thing with him is that I think the coaches have recognized what his strengths are. They recognize that he's really good in a blitz package. So they're allowing him to do the things that he does best, and they're making sure that the MEs are minimized in his game, and that's obviously the biggest thing on the list of ways to get better in Devin Lloyd's football career.
And as somebody else added, another texter, he looks lighter and quicker, which is, Nielsen had him going the other direction last year.
Nielsen had everybody going in the wrong direction last year.
Right, but and that wrong direction and started with the wrong direction on the scale with a lot of these guys.
The scale, the hockey shift rotation.
All that stuff.
Positional changes. Take your pick.
All right. We'll welcome your phone calls with Jeff if you want to get in on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines at 641-1010. Coming up, this is a Check the Tape Tuesday. We roll on straight ahead on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for big number one, Duval Ford. You know, Duval Ford makes it so easy to take care of your vehicle. First of all, over 90 service bays on site on their Cassett Avenue location. But Ford Mobile Service comes to you at home or at work. And they're available for oil changes, filters, battery replacement, recalls, and a lot more with no extra fees. Same dealership quality delivered. And right now, Ford is helping deliver for hungry families as well, collecting essential items to fight hunger and meet critical local needs. You can drop off food items at big number one Duval Ford between now and September 25th at 1616 Cassett Avenue, benefiting Feeding Northeast Florida.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
I love my propane company. They always answer when I call and give me great prices and fast service. Said no one ever.
Until now. Need propane for your home or business? Seabreeze Propane is bringing the propane as North Florida's new local propane provider. Visit SeabreezeLP.com. Seabreeze Propane. We make propane cool, brother. Oh, yeah.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, GarageDoor911.com.
Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Inspected by Shillington Creek Pest Control. Jacksonville was built on specialists. Now the Special Teams Player of the Week, sealed by Superior Plumbing and Pipeline.
Logan Cook fried the opposition while in the Sunshine State. The former 7th-round pick recorded 6 punts in the team's win versus the Texans, with his longest going for 60 yards. The chef served up a fine display of punting and will look to continue to do so all year. And he's your Superior Plumbing and Pipelining Special Teams Player of the Game.
I know you love sports, so why not take that passion and make a difference in your community as a volunteer coach with the YMCA? Whether it's soccer, basketball, volleyball, or flag football, the Y is always looking for positive role models to help kids grow in both skills and character. Even if you've got no coaching experience, that's fine. We'll provide the training. Step up, give back, and be the coach that makes a difference. To volunteer, visit your local Y or fcymca.org.
Beaches Jewelry and Pawn is celebrating 30 years with a huge new and used firearm sale all September. It's the perfect time to save during Florida's Second Amendment sales tax holiday. 0 sales tax on firearms at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Jordan Lewis was incredible against Houston. The Jacksonville cornerback tallied 4 tackles versus the Texans, with 3 being solo, and he also nabbed an interception in what was a clutch performance. Number 2 knew what to do to seal a victory for this young squad, and he's your Superior Fence and Rail's defensive Player of the Game.
You waited forever for your new fence. Then strangers show up. Subcontractors rushing the job. Sent by the company you trusted. Frustrating, right? Superior Fence and Rail promises better. Their professionally trained builders deliver quality you can trust. No subcontractors, no shortcuts. Just the superior craftsmanship your home deserves.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Get ready. Monday Night Football is coming to Everbank Stadium October 6th. And this is a matchup you won't want to miss. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are throwing it back in their Prowler jersey as they take on the Kansas City Chiefs under the primetime lights. Don't wait. Be a part of the action. Get your tickets now by visiting us online at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at the bank for primetime football.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, checking the tape with Jeff Lageman. Always better when the Jaguars win. Yeah, there are mistakes and things you need to clean up, but happy for the victory and focusing on some of the positives from that as well. You can get in on any angle you like when it comes to Jaguar football, except the 2026 draft. Let's be clear.
We're still way
I said
away from
but
that. Yeah.
that you understand that's always excluded until the Jags are excluded from the postseason. The Checkmate Coatings phone lines, we go for the first time this morning. Look at Sakib showing up here in Keystone Heights. What's up, Sakib?
Oh, yes, baby.
All right.
Yes. It's your boy's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Sakib.
Yeah.
Good day to be a Jags fan, okay? Listen, I live in Keystone. I live in the middle of nowhere. I can yell as much as I want. I can scream as much as I want. I can scream as much as do-all as I want, and it's a good day. All I want this week is another W in San Francisco and beat Mac Jones, and that's all I want. I'm not asking for nothing else, Mike. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for anything. I just want a W. I want to be 3-1. I want to feel good on that Monday night football when it comes to Duval County, baby. I want to beat them Kansas City Chiefs. I want to show the other teams that Jacksonville Jaguars are back. And we're going to win it all, baby. Let's go,
Duval! No question in there, Logs. Here's your question. Is Sakib going to get his birthday wish?
Well, how about some
week?
Candles in there? Right?
He doesn't care
about anything.
Doesn't want the candles. Doesn't need them.
He'll just scream at him if you give them to him.
Hey, candles! What are you doing to make the Jags better today? Look, Sakib is one of the emotional bellwethers of the Jaguar fan base.
No
okay?
doubt.
Sakib will let you know when he is unhappy or dissatisfied with the whole thing. Tony, how many times has he said he's had enough in the last 15 years? Can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
At least a dozen times in the last 15 years. So, Logs, in general, trip to the West Coast. Why is this so difficult, seemingly? Is it just a case of home teams typically tend to win more? How daunting is the travel in the modern NFL for these players?
I think good teams travel well. Typically, that's kind of the rule of thumb. And when you go to the West Coast, a lot of times it can be a little lengthy, and it's hard to kind of get the body going again when you're sitting stationary for some time. But, the Jaguars have done a really good job of developing with their health and wellness and medical staffs of developing ways to combat travel. And a lot of that was spurred on because of the travel to London. So I think they've done a really good job of learning how to travel. And I've also never been a big fan of some of the past ways of thinking and traveling to the West Coast that you go on a Friday. Well, when you go on a Friday, all that does is give you some time to fart around,
get in trouble,
and I don't like that. So I think traveling on Saturdays this year for any type of West Coast game, and I think that's the way it should be handled.
All right, fair enough. That's a question for a lot of people. The Jags have not had a lot of success out there.
Pretty cool game too, just from the standpoint of, you got John Lynch as the general manager, and I think he's the EVP of football operations, and now you got Tony Vaselli as the executive vice president of football operation. Gus Bradley, Robert Saleh, a lot of connections to Jacksonville in this game. Mac Jones being a guy that obviously was from here. So it'd be an interesting matchup, and some of it's going to be personal just because of that connection.
Luke Farrell,
Luke Farrell's their starting tight end now.
There you go. He is. He caught a touchdown for Mac Jones. Not this week, the week prior.
Last week.
A few of those practice reps paying off, I have a feeling.
Ben
on that
Bart,
one.
starting guard.
There you go.
Okay, former Jaguar. So there's a little connection there.
Logs from Code Blue, besides getting them to drop weight a little bit and get back to a little bit more sleeker form, what, from your perspective, has Anthony Campanile done differently than Ryan Nielsen that has this defense playing at this high level, ball hawks, 9 turnovers so far?
Well, I think first and foremost, he's done a really good job of teaching them the scheme and working with them on communication. And it started out a little bit rocky with that first preseason game when they were having a hard time getting lined up and communicating. But ever since then, it seems like it's been really good. And Anthony's an emotional guy. And I think that emotion, has a tendency to be contagious with units, and I think that's very appreciated across the defensive lineup, and he's doing a really good job as far as communicating with his coaches and everybody being on the same page. So far, so good. He's doing a really good job, and I think he's only going to get better. I mean, if you think about it, it's first-time defensive coordinator, and when you're the man making the calls, you're only going to get better, and he's only 3 games in.
I mentioned earlier in the hour, Jeff, that when I've seen the Jaguars defense struggle, it seems to me when the opponent goes quick. Like they either get to the line quick or they go quick game after the snap, right? Like it seems like that is where most of their problems are happening when they're happening right now on defense. I think San Francisco is very comfortable with that being everything they do. Like, how do you think you get this team prepared for that kind of test this week, given I think it's going to directly test the thing that they have been weakest at to this point this season?
Oh, I think you got to practice it. You got to rep it. Just similar to go back to that first preseason game when you were having a hard time getting lined up, getting the cleats in the ground, and you literally went back to the basics, the fundamentals, and walked through, and we're working on getting lined up, communicating, and having the ball snapped. And so you have to do the same thing with this. Just you've got to rep it. So whenever you have something that's become an issue, just like the drops on offense, you address it. Well, how do you address the drops? You go to the jugs machine, okay? You have quarterbacks throw you more balls. You work on hand-eye coordination to make sure that you're following the ball all the way in. So, I mean, there's lots of different things that you do to address things that you're aware of that you have to work on, and that's going to be one this week. A lot of it, I think, will depend on who's a quarterback as far as does San Francisco go tempo. If Brock Purdy's at quarterback, then, yes, I think you could go tempo more. But with some of the changes in their lineup may prohibit them from wanting to go there. Mm-hmm. The thing that I worry about the most with the Kyle Shanahan coach football team is their ability to have success on the ground and then to have the play action kind of off of that. So that's always been kind of his bread and butter. He might be the best coach in the National Football League as far as designing a running game and then having a complementary passing game off of that.
Somebody I saw on the text line had specifically asked, would you consider Devin Lloyd as a spy on Christian McCaffrey?
No, I think you have to play your scheme, but you always have an awareness of where guys are at. Just like this past week, if you're lining up in the secondary, you want to know where Nico Collins is. The week before that, let's know where Jamar Chase is and T. Higgins are. So you don't necessarily have to change the game plan for a guy like that, but you have to have an awareness of where he's lined up.
All right, fair enough. We'll take a timeout here on schedule and come back with more of your questions for Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. You can get in on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines at 641-1010 here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Go! Your play-by-play home of Bulls Bulldogs football is 1010XL.
The Bulldogs are road dogs as they head to Baldwin Friday night at 6:30 on 1010 AM. Join Jim Furyk and other legends of the PGA Tour for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, October 3rd through 5th at Timuquana Country Club. Catch the new community concert series on the 17th hole after play, featuring country artists Low Cash and Love and Theft. Public parking is free with complimentary tournament access for military, courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Get tickets now for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, starting at just $25 at Ticketmaster.
Jaguars Today Tuesday, kept pest-free by Julington Creek Pest Control.
Hey, First Coast, it's your boy Leon Searcy, your lemon pepper guy. Back and better than ever for Wingstop. You know I can't resist those crispy, flavorful wings that make your taste buds dance. Wingstop just opened a hot new spot on Jeremiah Street in Middleborough. There's 17 locations, now serving up the most mouth-watering wings in town. And my all-time favorite, lemon pepper. Try their new quick and easy ordering on the app and swing by today for fresh, hot wings made for you. Only at Wingstop.
Scholar athletes prepare themselves to win at life.
1010XL and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists shine the spotlight on the Scholar Athlete of the Week. Wednesdays on The Frangie Show. Checked by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember Morton Anderson missing a chip shot field goal that launched the Jags Jags into the playoffs in 96. You know who doesn't miss? Coyle Fencing. Coyle has been the fencing leader in Northeast Florida since 1927. Heck, Coyle has been installing fences since before Emery Ballard installed the wishbone offense. If you need a new fence, I recommend calling Coyle Fence today at 904-356-4821 or visit CoyleJacks.com. Coyle Fencing, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
You've got a circle of friends, right? Well, how about a circle of beer? All your favorites like Bud Light, Bud Heavy, Mick Ultra, or Natty Light. It's all there in the cold case at Circle K. Probably one right around the corner right now calling your name. Slide on in to a Circle K.
Prosser here again for Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts you can trust. You might think you have a struggle ahead, but Chad and Sandy always have a solution, and ultimately it ends in a success story. Jacksonville area homes are selling, but getting the right price requires aggressive marketing and proven systems. Hiring the experts who know how to create demand is crucial. You need Chad and Sandy Newman. Need to sell now? Chad and Sandy have instant offers, fast, easy, stress-free. But, man, they deliver with the promises. The local real estate experts you can trust. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. Oh, and the proof is out there. Tom and Nicole in Mandarin. I got a new job in Louisiana. We found a new home. Now we'd have to sell fast to avoid paying 2 mortgages. Chad and Sandy did it. Use them today. ChadandSandy.com. That's ChadandSandy.com.
Hey, it's Rick Ballou. I just upgraded my home with fantastic floors, and the experience was incredible. Rusty and the team brought the showroom to me with their at-home consultation. The whole process was simple, the installation was top-notch, and the results, absolutely fantastic. Take it from me. Don't wait. Visit fanfloors.com and schedule your at-home consultation today. Fantastic floors, where every step is fantastic.
Hey, 1010XL fans, it's game time, but don't get sidelined from the fun. The JTA Game Day Express is the smartest way to get to the bank on time. It's all sponsored by the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens. There are 5 convenient pickup locations across the River City, but remember, Game Day Express is cashless. All passes must be purchased through the MyJTA mobile app. Get your $10 pass today. For all of your game day needs, go to myjtafla.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman is brought to you by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, drops, not really an official NFL statistic, so you see different numbers going around on how many the Jags may have had. I've seen different readings of it this week. Tony has said Brian Thomas said 3, which is what my naked eyes saw. I saw another one that said 1 real drop, 2 other contested balls, whatever the case. The Jags have dropped the ball way too much this year. Warren Sharp, who does a lot of NFL stats, he posts on social media, said based on 270 qualifying quarterbacks since 2020, Trevor Lawrence this year has the highest drop rate among his receivers, and 32% of his incompletions are due to receiver error this year. Agree or disagree?
I don't know how he's basing that 32 number on receiver error. Because I think a lot of times, unless you know the system and know the progression of the quarterback and the timeliness of the quarterback, I think it's probably a little bit of a stretch to know that number.
Yeah, probably so. But, yeah. I mean, we can see it with our own eyes that these guys are dropping the ball.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, there were 6. I got 6 in the game the other day.
That's what I came away with as well.
And so, I mean, that's got to be better. And then, obviously, in Cincinnati, you had Diami had a drop. BTJ had a couple drops. Who else had a drop in that game? I'm trying to think. I think Strange had one even in that game. So you had like 4 or 5 drops in Cincinnati.
One of the other tight ends had a drop too.
Maybe
Munt. I'm not sure. It was a month or long.
I'd have to go back.
One of those guys. But so what do you do?
It's an issue.
How do you get over it?
I mean, it's just you go to practice and you hit the jugs machine. And again, there was a little drill that we used to have when I was growing up, and you had a football and it was painted, or you had a marker and you put, each football has 4 quadrants, right?
Sure.
On the end, if you looked at the nose, and so in high school we actually painted each segment a color, and so when you would catch it, you would always call the color out that was on the top. Just to work on that hand-eye coordination, or if you just write something in marker like a letter A, B, C, D. Catch the ball A, catch the ball D, whatever letter is turned up. I mean, just anything you can do, catch tennis balls. I mean, you go back and you watch Evan Ingram, what he used to do before the game, and he would have these sunglasses on, and it would be flashing lights, and then he would work on catching tennis balls just to work his hand-eye coordination and concentration. So anything that you can do to work on that, I think you got to try to do.
I have seen we've been out there at camp when Brian Thomas and Diami and Travis Hunter are doing their little tennis ball game. Now, I don't know if it's the exact same thing that Evan Ingram is doing, but I have seen them work on hand-eye coordination drills like that. So it's not like they're, the coaching staff is not aware of it.
Yeah,
or
just got to keep working it. I mean, that's the only thing you do. That's the only thing you can do. Show energy, a concerted effort to work on it and to get better at it.
All right, this one from Ed on Trevor Lawrence. Does it look like he has been able to stick to the new footwork in games, or has he been reverting to any old habits with his footwork?
Footwork's been getting better, but, there's still, I think, some room for him to get better at it. His accuracy's got to get better. That's, it's a work in progress. When you're in a new system, there are going to be games where it's not great and games that's going to be pretty good. This game I thought was okay. If he had the catches by the wide receivers, I think it'd be just okay, just because he had some misses that were, you can't miss. You got to make those throws.
I know you've talked a lot about Trevor's accuracy, as we just were, with some of the things that were going on and the timing in the offense and how well he's keeping up, maintaining that kind of thing. How much do you attribute both of these conversations we've had in this segment, right? The timing and the accuracy of Trevor with the drops that they're dealing with right now in the offense. How related do you think those two things are? Or is it unfair to put those two things together?
No, they're together. But then also, Tony, lump in there the illegal shifts, right? I mean, as a quarterback, you got a lot to worry about. And the last thing in the world you want to do is to be babysitting anybody, whether it's a formational misalignment or whatever. And I'm not singling anybody out. I mentioned earlier that Travis Hunter needs to get better at some things, but it's not just him. I mean, there's other guys that need to get better at having some of that system down so that Trevor's not waiting for them. He doesn't have to constantly check them out, on the lineman and assignment stuff. So it's an everybody thing when it comes to that. But, as a quarterback, you keep working on what you can. And the best thing, I think, in this whole scenario is that Trevor's working his rear end off. Liam Cohen has been very definitive about that, about how much he appreciates Trevor's work ethic. And from the moment that Liam became the head coach, Trevor went right to work. And he's continuing to work his rear end off. And so as long as you have that commitment and the two of them working together and the communication is at a high level from everything that I'm understanding, those are all good things and signs that it's going to be going in the right direction, and it is.
This one, Log, do you think the team should be designing some more quarterback runs for Trevor, specific quarterback run plays?
No. And here's why. I don't like the way Trevor protects himself a lot of time. I mean, at the end of plays, I don't think he does a very good job of that. And I'm not trying to say that Trevor can be like Lamar Jackson, but when you watch Lamar Jackson, he does such a good job of avoiding contact at the end of all these crazy runs that he has. And I think that that's a special ability. And so I like when Trevor runs sometimes, but I don't want to have Trevor in traffic trying to decide when to get down and when not to get down. But yes, he's got a resource and that he does have some mobility, and he should absolutely use it at times.
Needed it this week.
And that was a big play.
Big play to keep that drive going.
Credit to him, because there was nothing there. And He probably could have slid at the end of that play and avoided the contact that he had at the end, but he wanted to make sure that he had the first down,
Right.
so I appreciate that.
Yep. And
It's like the diving forward against Cincinnati the week before.
Right, and he got his head out of the way. Like he made a concerted effort at the end to kind of get his helmet off to the side, you know what I mean? So he wasn't going to take that shot there. But, hey, he got the job done. And
the only thing you worry about with Trevor is there was one point in the game, you guys probably remember C.J. Stroud was scrambling, and all of a sudden here comes Trayvon, and Trayvon was going crushing.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the last second, C.J. kind of makes a move and avoids the big hit by Trayvon. You don't want your quarterback taking one of those big-time, I'm right in the pipeline of a coming defender that's coming at 100 miles an hour.
Oh, I get it. I'm just saying, look, that was a case of you're going to take a hit and we need this first down, and you're playing football, right? I mean, we're tied. You don't get that first down, you punt it away. We might be talking about what could have been again for the second week in a row. Jeff
that was
Lageman,
a big one. 10-yard scramble on 3rd and 6.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the audible to the throw to BTJ. All right, we'll come back. Hour 2 on the way. If you want to get in with Jeff, 641-1010 works on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, as well as the Checkmate Coatings phone lines, and keep them coming on social media, and we'll pass them along on a Check the Tape Tuesday here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. What could Jacksonville do better? Find out from one of our best ever as David Garrard joins Mike and Fat Tony on Jaguars Today. Monday from 10 to noon. Restored by Resto Pros of Northeast Florida on 1010XL.
Introducing the Jag Stack at Firehouse Subs. So bold, it's named after the home team. Stacked with honey ham, smoked turkey, roast beef, provolone, fresh veggies, and the new Duval drizzle sauce. For a limited time at your local Firehouse Subs, there's only one hottest sub in Duval.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. You hear about guarantees and warranties. What is Underwood's policy?
Frank, to talk about guarantees and warranties, you have to look at our history of over 70 years in business. Underwood's entire reason for existence is and has been to offer fine products that'll be used with such satisfaction that both the giver and the receiver will want to come back. And hopefully they'll tell their friends about us. To do this means we've got to try our hardest to satisfy every customer. All of our people understand that. Now, I'm sure over the years we've made a few mistakes, but we've never failed to make good on any Underwood product that was returned with a legitimate customer complaint. Our entire reputation would mean nothing if we didn't conduct ourselves that way. Simply put, conducting our business with integrity is a lot more important to Underwoods and our customers than all the guarantees, warranties, and contrived legal obligations in the world. And you've got Underwood's word, my word, and all of our people's word on that.
Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 23rd, 1988, Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana missed his first start for the San Francisco 49ers after 49 consecutive starts.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Chip Davis, director of the Flounder Pounder Fishing Tournament. We are fast approaching our 16th annual tournament benefiting the Jacksonville School for Autism. With the help of our amazing community, we raised over $1.4 million the last 15 years. This year's tournament will be held at Palm Valley Outdoors on the Intercoastal Waterway. Captain's meeting is Thursday night, October 9th, and the tournament is Saturday, October 11th. I'm inviting you and your family to come out and enjoy our tournament festivities, raise some money, and support autism awareness. Special thanks to U.S. Army Recruitment Jacks for their support. Flounder Pounder for Autism 2025. See you there.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC experts, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here for Big Chief Tire. Right now, you can get 6-month financing through the CFNA credit card and $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. It's a smart way to handle big vehicle needs like new tires, brakes, or repairs without the upfront cost. With no interest for 6 months, there's never been a better time to schedule. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Rebound Rehabilitation. 11 great locations across the First Coast, and they're just a click away when it comes to feeling strong and healthy again. If you need the best path to recovery, look no further than Rebound Rehab. Log on and check out one of their great 11 locations.
Brian Wall here with Window World. You know that awesome feeling when you finally find that one place to go to that will give you a top quality product at a great price and then stand behind what they sell you? That's exactly what Window World does. Top quality, energy efficient windows at a great price that keeps more of your money in your bank account. With the absolute best guarantee in the window replacement business. That's why Window World has been the #1 window replacement company in the USA for years, selling more than 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years. That's a lot of satisfied customers, and you can be one too. Save money on installing new energy-efficient windows and save on your energy bills too. You can't lose. And if anything goes wrong with your new Window World windows ever, Window World and I will be there to make it right. Call Window World today or see them online and have them come and give you a free estimate and see why we are so proud of our products and the work we do for our customers. Call Window World or go online at windowworldneflorida.com. And thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update. Heading into Game 4, Jag head coach Liam Cohen says he's learning his offensive playmakers.
And how do we continue to put these guys in positions to succeed, to continue to do things that we do well.
And in the latest coaches poll, undefeated Reigns claims the top spot in Jacksonville's varsity football. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 10:52, it's 82 degrees. Time at 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler, Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, Dylan Denmark, get that 10-10 take ready to go. We'll fire that up here in a second for Jeff Lageman. Take a look at some defensive line questions for him here. The Checkmate Coatings phone lines always open to you at 641-1010, but particularly on a Check the Tape Tuesday. So, Dylan, if you'd be so kind.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
All right, Lex, I've had several defensive line questions. We're going to kind of bundle them together to get your take on the state of affairs beyond Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, who we know are both playing very well. Let's start with the interior. A couple of specific questions about how Mason Smith has looked, along with the rest of the defensive tackles.
I thought Mason was pretty good in this past game. Thought Eric Armstead also kind of pretty good. Eric didn't have the impact that he had in Cincinnati, but he's still making plays, and his presence is felt. He's just so long. I think he can take it up another notch, though, to have his impact felt even more. Devon Hamilton had a solid game. Could probably be a little bit better on the inside. So I think all three of those guys inside could have been a little bit better.
Colin Saunders inactive again for the second straight week with Christian McCaffrey and the ground game being more prominent. Could this be maybe a switch up this week?
Yeah, it could be this week. And look, the importance that Shanahan has in that run game, you could end up seeing him being up. But if he's up, then somebody else has got to go down. And who would that be? I mean, it could end up being another position group,
Yeah.
But going to have to kind of wait and see. I think Colin Saunders is a good football player. Yeah, I think he's arguably better than Devon Hamilton. And I think Devon Hamilton kind of knows that, maybe feels that presence a little bit, and his game has gotten better. And so that's good to see. That's the great thing about competition. We were talking about Devin Lloyd earlier, and the competition that he had at that position in training camp, I think, has elevated his game. I think the competition at nose tackle has elevated the game of Devon Hamilton.
So what about the ends, other than the two frontline guys? Who's playing well there, or who needs to step up?
I think it's time to activate somebody else besides Ogba.
I don't think he had a stat this week.
He's last couple weeks, I think, for the most part. I don't see the level of play that's showing that he has a lot of fuel left in the tank. And so if it's me, I'd go with either BJ Green or Danny Striga. I'll give them an opportunity.
Beyond that, Smoot playing well?
Yeah, he's playing well, and he gives you some flexibility because he plays inside and he plays out. And his energy and his motor is outstanding. And that's the kind of guy you want to have on this team. I mean, a guy that's 100 miles an hour, plays hard every snap, gives you great effort, and he's got some talent. I mean, that's the thing that I appreciate most about him. He's kind of one of those Paul Spicer types, to bring a Jaguars name from the past up, because he plays the game with that type of intensity and effort.
Interesting question. It's kind of a little out of the blue here, and I don't know if we can know the answer to this, but do you think the Texans would have gone for 2 on the last drive if they scored the touchdown?
Probably so. Yeah, probably so. Right on the road, chance to
struggling
win it.
To score all day.
Yeah, right there, one play, win or don't.
I could see it going both ways. You could feel like you've got all the momentum because you've come back and kind of punched them in the face a little bit here and see what happens in overtime.
I'm glad we didn't get to the point of seeing what that decision was going to be.
I'm 100% with you, man. And I agree.
That was by far one of the most violent games I've seen in a long time. I mean, just as far as how physical that game was.
Who stood out to you from a Jaguar perspective in that regard?
Well, everybody up front, and I thought that the offensive line was really physical, and I thought. And I'm giving the Texans credit here. Agent Zero for them, Jair, was on his game. Give him credit. I mean, the big hit that he put on De'Ami Brown, the way he played that game with energy, how physical he was making contact. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I thought, played the game incredibly physical. 51 is just, Will Anderson Jr. is just a stud. I mean, just an absolute stud. And he's a stud in every aspect of the game. He reminds me a lot of Josh in that he plays the run, the pass all at the same level. He anticipates. Really good football player. So I think this is going to be a week. As a head coach, you get X number of padded practices throughout the course of a season. And I think it's 16. This might be a week that you don't use that padded practice because there's some guys that I think are probably feeling the violent physical nature of that game today.
When you look at this football team, and we're talking a lot about the defensive line and where a bunch of different guys are for this Jaguars team right now, I don't think we have any question about Hines Allen or Trayvon. You talk about DeJuan Smoot being an effort guy. I think those other two guys, that's why we talk about them the way that we do. They're super talented and they're effort guys, right? To the echo of the whistle, those guys go. When you look at the team on defense as a whole, we're 3 games into the season now. What would you say is the identity of the Jacksonville Jaguars defense this season?
Well, I mean, obviously, number one, they're taking the ball away at an incredible rate. So opportunistic would be at the top. Great effort. And the other thing, too, is that the way that they play the whole game, 60 minutes of football, I think has been really strong. So, but the thing that I think is the most impressive is that the intensity they play the game with, the way they communicate, and I'm going to use this term again, and I used it at the beginning, how resilient they've been. I mean, they have given this football team in every single game this year the opportunity to win it, or they've won it themselves. And to me, that's all you can ask for.
And on the other side of the coin, this one from Trevor on the X platform here. Is there identity with this offense, or is it still changing week to week?
Well, the offensive identity is going to be to which Liam Cohen wants, which is a physical brand of football. And just like I said earlier about how they weren't running the ball with great success in the first half. In years past, we would have seen an offense completely turn away and not even try to run the ball.
They didn't try much in the first half.
The Jaguars?
Yeah, they only had 6 carries.
Right, they only had like 6 carries, and it was getting shut down pretty good. And there were a couple looks that the Texans showed, and Liam talked about it as, quote, unscouted looks, end quote. And all they were basically doing was they were taking what normally is a 4-3 and basically turning it into a 5-2. And one of the defensive linemen that comes in is replacing like a Sam linebacker, so you're getting a little bit more beef up on the front. And they used that a couple different times, and then they also kicked down with their base personnel and played a little Bears 46. And what that was doing was challenging the Jaguars to pass the ball. So that's one of the reasons why you saw the numbers kind of skewed a little bit.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that they stayed with the run in the second half. And when you have a team that is going to play you like that, you have to be able to throw the ball into that at times to basically take that eighth guy out of the box, or in some cases, if you're playing three wide receivers as a personnel grouping, to take the seventh guy out of that box, to lighten the box so you can have success running the ball. And that falls on the passing game, the quarterback and the wide receivers, and not drop the damn ball.
You mentioned the consistency on defense at the top of the identity for the team right now, right? And they're forcing the turnovers the way that they are 9 in 3 weeks now. When we're talking about the offensive identity for the football team, how much does, again, the conversations that we're having at this point with some of the things that are going on offense right now, specifically the drops, how difficult does it become to figure out what are they when that kind of thing is still very much getting in the way of them having maintained success, it feels like, within some of these football games early?
Well, it doesn't make it easy, right? I mean, because it kind of takes away from other areas that you need to work on. I mean, drops is one of those things you just got to assume that the catches are going to be made, you know, and there's other things that are hard to accomplish in the course of a game, and drops need to be one of those things that aren't even part of the game. So it makes it difficult, and it takes away from a lot of the rhythm of the offense. So you're trying to build things throughout the course of a game, and drops can completely take away any kind of momentum that you have in a game, and that's got to be corrected first before you can work on other things as well.
All right, more with Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday straight ahead. 641-1010 gets you and your question on board and answered with logs here on Jaguars Today. We'll get to those lines as soon as we come out of the break here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. John Osher knows Jacksonville football like Jack's Beach knows the ocean. That makes two of us. Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Served up by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
Josie, for Hard Rock Bet football season is here. You've been waiting a long time, and now you can get in on the action. The NFL season underway. College football already a couple of weeks in. Log on to hardrock.bet. A $5 winning bet. You'll score an extra $150 in bonus bets. That's a winning bet and a boosted bankroll. That's how you kick off the season. All at Hard Rock Bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT.
It's a Jaguars Today Tuesday, sparked by Julington Creek Pest Control.
Huge savings on Dell AI PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors are here, and they're newly designed to help you do more faster. They can generate code, edit images, multitask without lag, draft emails, summarize documents, create live translations, and even extend your battery life. That's the power of Dell AI with Intel inside. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hayes' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
When it comes to your utility bill, JEA wants to help you use less so you can save more. We offer a variety of free programs, like efficiency and irrigation assessments that'll teach you ways to conserve energy and water around your home. Our alerts will let you know when your utility usage has reached a set amount, and our rebates can help you save when upgrading to more efficient appliances and equipment. Find even more ways to save at JEA.com.
Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
With the score tied, it was time for the good guys to make a final push towards a W while in regulation. Trevor Lawrence led the Young Guns on a 7-play, 83-yard drive, capped off by a Travis Etienne score, giving the Teal and Black a 17-10 advantage in the final period. The 1-minute, 59-second drive is your Randy Marion Cadillac drive of the game.
This is Jennifer Marion at Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville, and now's the time to drive away in luxury.
That's right, Jennifer. The $7,500 tax credit ends this month. It's your last month to take advantage of this incredible opportunity.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, drive the all-new electric Optique, Lyric, and Vistique. They are all in stock and ready to drive today.
See all of our inventory at Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.com or visit us on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent you.
On game day, you trust your team. On storm day, trust the people's roofer, Morgan Conley Roofing. Born here, built here, staying here. MorganConleyRoofing.org. License number CCC 1333544.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Since 1901, generations of skilled union workers have built the backbone of our community. Hospitals, schools, the buildings where you work. Every year, a new apprentice class of Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians is stepping up, trained, driven, and ready to do great things. They're not just building our city, they're building their future. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to become a member or contractor today.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
1010XL, presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, we'll get back to your Jaguar inquiries with Jeff Lageman momentarily here, checking the tape as we do every Tuesday. Fortunately, victorious tape for the Jags, and let's hope that they can keep that rolling. We'll talk tomorrow with Matt Mayoko, who covers the 49ers, has for a long time, and get their side of the story. They are a beat-up team right now. So if ever there was a good time, Tony, to go to the West Coast and get a W, this would be it for Jacksonville. With that, let's let Tony take us around what's happening in the NFL.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
The oblique injury that Houston corner Derek Stingley suffered on Sunday is still being evaluated by the team. Texans safety Jimmy Ward has been removed from the commissioner's exempt list, and the team has placed him on their PUP list, bringing him back to the roster. Indianapolis corner Kenny Moore expected to miss a couple of weeks due to a calf injury. Minnesota wide receiver Jordan Addison has officially been reinstated. San Francisco defensive end Nick Bosa has suffered a torn ACL. 49ers wide receiver Demarcus Robinson has been reinstated. LA Chargers running back Najee Harris will miss the remainder of the season due to a torn Achilles. Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans is undergoing an MRI today to determine the extent of his hamstring injury. Dallas wide receiver CeeDee Lamb expected to miss 2 weeks at least with a high ankle sprain. The Cowboys reportedly are not intending to place him on the short-term IR. Chicago corner Jalen Johnson will need core muscle surgery. Bears head coach Ben Johnson said yesterday that Johnson still has a chance to return this season there for the Bears. Cleveland left tackle DeJuan Jones suffered a season-ending knee injury, and Carolina center Austin Corbett, who the team placed on short-term IR last week due to an MCL injury, expected to miss the next 6 to 8 weeks.
And Jags over the Falcons by 46. Is that what I am led to believe here after Carolina's 30-0 dismantling over the Atlanta Falcons this weekend? You never know, Tone. Or you lose by 1 to them because that's the NFL.
That's the league.
All right, they're loaded up. Let's get to them on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. Thank you for your patience there at 641-1010. Steven Palatka has been hanging on the longest. Steve, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, obviously tough to win in the NFL. My own opinion, I feel Trevor's been less than impressive, unfortunately. I'm still looking forward to make some big steps, still making a lot of the same mistakes he did last year. Interceptions late in the game. You get a lot of chances. He came through. How much truth is there to us? That last game, Liam Cohen came through, hit him in the chest. I watch these other elite quarterbacks. They throw it right in the chest. I know we have a lot of drops, a lot of catchable balls. They're not in the chest. They're having to reach for them. Sure, they should catch them. But I think his percentage obviously would go way up if he would just hit the players in the chest. Why can't he do that? Will he ever be able to do that? If he's not able to do that, I don't believe we're going to win. Our defense has been keeping us in all these games. We don't get these turnovers. We lose all of these games, and we're having a different conversation about Trevor Lawrence. So I take that off the air from there.
Well, I mean, you might be right as far as the conversation if we don't get the takeaways, but we did. So that would be kind of having a hypothetical conversation. I don't think there's any doubt that Trevor needs to work on the accuracy, but also part of gaining the accuracy is working with the feet and knowing where the progression is with the offense and being familiar with the offense. Are there times where the ball is not where it needs to be, hitting them in the chest? Yeah, sure. There's also times that Trevor needs to have the ball out sooner and delivered to the wide receiver in a timelier fashion, and the hope is that is something that gets better as the course of the season rolls on. The reality is that Trevor's allowed to get better, just like anybody else is allowed to get better, and you expect him to get better with a new system because the more familiar he gets with it, the more second nature it becomes, and the reality is, too, the players that are also around him also need to get better in that system.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Look, I saw Lamar and Goff miss plenty of throws last night. When the ball hit the receiver's hands, they came to their chest, right? Like, I don't think his receivers are helping him in this regard. I'm not saying that Trevor can't be more accurate, but I do think the idea that, he's the quarterback that's struggling with his accuracy in the league, I don't think that's particularly true. I watched some of the great quarterbacks in the league that miss it by a little bit. Their guys help them. When you have an opportunity to make a play, make a play. It doesn't have to be as big a story. The drops are making it a much bigger story than it needs to be in Jacksonville at this point. We'd have a clearer picture of how accurate or inaccurate he really is, but it's hard to see right now.
Yeah, and I mean, look, he's got to get better. And
he does.
He's not up there anywhere near the category of a Jared Goff. I mean, when
I'm with you.
Jared Goff has got a clean pocket, he's, I think, the most accurate quarterback in the National Football League. But when he has to move or do anything on the run.
Yeah, you see that one he tried to throw against his body last night?
It's not very good.
No. He had a wide open guy, and he tried to throw a ball. Maybe Mahomes makes this play. Like, he had to be like a shortstop, almost jumping in the air and slinging it out to the right.
Yeah.
And that thing was like 5 yards off target, a dirt ball, And I saw Lamar airmailing a bunch of outs, like easy throws.
I even saw Goff last night it was just like a 10-yard crossing route. Like, that's all it was. His feet were set. Everything was on time. He missed it. Right? Like, I see all the quarterbacks in the league miss that throw sometimes. I think when you see your quarterback miss it, you go, why is he always missing that throw? And I don't think that's the reality of the situation.
I think with a lot of those guys, to be fair, like,
they make up for it on the back end.
Yeah, and if Goff, if every one of his drops was caught, and his completion percentage is somewhere up in the 70s, right? Trevor, when he has the drops, is at 50%.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if all 6 are caught, and that's the thing, you're going to have a ball dropped every once in a while, and these balls are contested, and the guys are trying to make plays on them. But his completion percentage this week, if all 6 were caught that we consider drops, would have been 65%. Would have been pretty good. It looks a lot different. But, in the end, I don't think anybody here is not acknowledging that Trevor can play better. But I'm happy that they're winning in the meantime.
No doubt.
And like you said, that improvement is allowed to come throughout the course of the season. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Eric on the west side. Eric, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good. What's up?
I noticed in the second half, majority of it, Derek Stingley was out. I don't know if he had an injury or whatnot, but he's pretty banged up.
He had an oblique injury that kept him out.
Okay, cool. And then I noticed that I was saying to myself, why are we not targeting that corner? Because he was covering BTJ most of the time, and I was thinking, well, maybe is it the drop is changing like far as like the plays, because I think we could have taken advantage of that and then they kind of did at the end on our 40-yarder. So my thing is why we didn't exploit that earlier.
Well, I think they tried to, and who you're talking about is Tremon Smith, who came in when Stingley went out. And the reality is that you just weren't functioning at a very high level on offense to beat anybody. So trying to target one guy in particular is great, but you need to kind of do the basics. And the offense wasn't really accomplishing any of the basics. So that part of it was disappointing, and look, I'm willing to give the Texans credit. I thought they played really well up front in that first half. I thought they harassed Trevor a little bit when he was in the pocket. Those two guys, 51 and 55, are really good on the outside, and they made some plays. But I will say this about the Jaguars' offensive line. Anton Harrison is, I think, playing at a level he's never seen. It's incredibly encouraging. They're willing to leave him all alone, and he's doing a really good job.
What about Walker Little on the other side? I mean, like, you look at the PFF numbers, he's given up a lot of pressures the last couple of weeks. And then granted, now these are really, like, Trey Hendrickson and Will Anderson are really good. Yeah. But, that's life in the big league. So how is he playing?
Okay. And when I say okay, overall, okay. Is at times they're giving them help, which that's okay. When you play players that are great, it's okay to have help. And at times when they leave him alone, he's doing a pretty good job. There's a time when he's all alone, he's giving up pressures. But the one thing he's doing really freaking well is blocking his rear end off. I mean, in the run game, he might be one of the best blocking offensive linemen the Jaguars have. He might get more movement than anybody out of that offensive line. That's how good he is in a run game. So, there are some negatives, to that game that he has, but there are also some really strong positives as well.
All right, fair enough. Let's get back to the lines here. 641-1010. Kay is downtown. Next up on Jaguars Today. Kay, good morning.
Hey, good morning to all of you. So I wanted to ask Jeff, is there anything he's noticing from the operation from Logan, Cam, and Ross that needs to be improved? Because Logan Cook is top 10. In some cases, he's in some categories, he's top 5 in every statistical category. He's looking really good. And Cam is good. I know he missed one, but I just wanted to know, is there anything you're noticing that they can improve on? Because no one is perfect. So that was my question.
All right. Thank you for the question. And the snaps by Ross on the field goals, extra points, got to get better. They haven't been very good for the last couple of weeks. They're a little off. And Logan's having to do a really good job of handling them and getting the ball down for Cam. And like I said earlier, I don't know if it was a factor at all in Cam's miss because the snap was okay on that one, but just the overall snaps not being as accurate the week before and then leading up to this game.
He rolled
was that a
one
factor?
back to him against Carolina.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's something to keep an eye on and something that Ross needs to do better. Logan did not have a great day.
No, he had some shorter punts than usual.
Did the snap have anything to do with that?
No, snaps were all good on the punts. On the punts, snaps were all good. So there's nothing on Ross on any of that. That's just Logan didn't have a great day.
You know what? I'd rather that happen and then they win the football game. How many bad days does Logan Cook have?
Not many.
Right? Not many, right? So, all right, it wasn't the perfect day. We won the game. I'm not the least bit worried about him or Cam Little with the missed field goal. Like, it's so shocking. I think we've conditioned ourselves after less than 20 games to think that Cam Little will never miss a kick, right? Because he's only missed 3 for a Stone.
And it also, watching Monday Night Football last night, the reality of kickers in the league has just changed in the last 5 years. I mean, Detroit, at the end of that half, they're willing to try.
Nothing.
Yeah, is it 67?
67, sure.
Try it.
We got that.
And he had the leg.
Yeah.
He just didn't quite have it within the upright. Like, it's crazy how many kickers across the league have that kind of distance. The Jaguars have one of them, but you're not all that special or unique in having a guy that can kick it from 60-plus. In today's NFL, there's a dozen of them.
I don't know if there's a dozen, but there's a lot more than there. I'd say maybe a half dozen that got that 65-yard range. But
what I love, though, about Logan in that game, you guys remember the the scuffle, the brouhaha.
Yeah,
that went on
so he went after a
Jaguars.
linebacker.
I mean, Jacob Johnson, I think is the guy's name. Jacob Johnson, who was the guy that kind of cheap shotted Ross Madisick and on the sideline, and Ross did a great job of playing it up. Like, oh my God, I got whacked. And Logan comes in there, and of course, first of all, the Dennis Gardeck was the one who went after him. But then Logan gets involved in there. I mean, look, he ain't afraid to get a little bit of dirty, and dirty in something like that. But then also dirty when it comes to needing to make a tackle on the field as a punter. And that part of Logan I like.
Yeah, I liked. A lot of people have pointed it out. The Hainsey block on Azeez Al-Shaair after he already missed the tackle on Brenton Strange. Like, Brenton ran through him kind of, and he's still kind of standing around. And Hainsey's like, "Oh, I got him."
Gives him a little push.
I got him. And threw him on his butt, which was nice. All right, we got to take a time out here. If you're on the line, stay there. We'll get to you coming out of the break at 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines on a Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for my friends at Dandy Foods, locally owned, locally operated by the Thompson family. Good old Duval family since way back in 1956. Generations of the Thompsons have helped feed Duval County. I've talked about Dandy's outstanding products for over a decade. I personally enjoyed them for about 3 times as long because Dandy is the perfect go-to when you're in a hurry and you don't want the hassle of a long wait. You're not going to go wrong. Great value compared to the drive-thru as well. Fast, fresh, always tasty, made with the highest quality ingredients, and waiting for you at the cold case in convenience stores all over town. As a matter of fact, right down from the Jacksonville Zoo is the Sunoco station on Heckscher Drive, San Marco Foods. They have a great selection of Dandy sandwiches, whether it's a monster classic combo or maybe a delicious meatball sub. You're going to find plenty of choices to satisfy even the heartiest of appetites. For a fresh, quality product, only one name you need to know, folks. When you're hungry in Duval, go out and make yours a Dandy. Do it today.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Every Friday in the fall is Pregame Friday.
Is this what I think it is? Yes, it is.
We'll get you ready for the games. Who's in, who's out.
This is what I'm talking about.
Built by Dream Finders Homes. Homes built to fit your lifestyle on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
This is Jaguar Hall of Famer Tony Baselli telling you about Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and home remodeling company. With over 25 years of trusted experience, Heritage of North Florida has built a reputation for quality, reliability, and craftsmanship. Whether you need a new roof or updating your kitchen or bathroom, trust the pros at Heritage of North Florida to create the perfect place to call home. Mention Jaguars to get $1,500 off your next roof or kitchen remodel when you go to heritagenfl.com. Go Jags.
It's Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Protected by Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Jeff Lageman for Napa Auto Care Centers. This football season, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or travel to the away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASE certified professionals at any one of the 29 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions. Napa Auto Care Centers offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace of mind warranty on most repairs. Find one near you at jacksnapaautocare.com.
Here's what the car insurance companies may think they know after a car crash. They know you probably don't know what your claim is worth, or how to calculate pain and suffering, lost wages and future earnings, current and future medical expenses, or diminished value to your car. But guess what? We do. And if we don't win your case, you owe us nothing. For a fairer fight, you know who to call. Farah and Farah. Jacksonville.
Football season is back, baby. Hicken here, and I know I'm excited to get back to watching some ball over the weekend. But with the fun comes responsibility. Taking care of your skin while outside, extremely important. We know it feels like 100 out there, and that sun is blazing. Make sure you bring the screen while loading up all that tailgate. It's simple. Protect your skin. It's the Sunshine State. To help you protect your skin, Beaches Dermatology is here. I've been going to them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Book your appointment today at beachesdermatology.com.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Work it, make it, do it. Makes us all better, faster, stronger.
Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, let's get to these calls that have been hanging for Jeff Lageman. Check the tape Tuesday, 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. So a couple more segments to go here this morning. And Darren is up next. Darren, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing good, guys. Thank you for taking my call. Jeff, I think it's 3 games in. We're 2-1, could easily be 3-0. It's evident to me that why we worked so hard and Tony Baselli and Shad Khan to get Liam Cohen. What a just an incredible experience it is to listen to each one of his press conferences. I absorb it. I love it. Enjoy it. And James Gladstone, that they picked him. I mean, I know we're early yet, but it obviously seems that this team is on the rise and heading in the right direction. And my question for you, Jeff, is as far as the defense goes, how far do you think how good can this defense be? And especially if we manage to stay healthy, how good can this defense be? And where do you think they're going to be able to keep us in just about all the games? I'll hang up the list, guys.
Yeah, and I really like where they're at as a defense. Can they be an elite defense? Which to me, the elite class falls up there with like the Cleveland Browns. Do I think that they can be like that? No. I don't, but I think that they can be a very good defense, and if they keep taking the ball away, there's no reason to not expect them to be, a top defense in the league. Your first comments about Liam and James and Tony and the whole organizational structure, I've been kind of talking about this a little bit throughout the offseason and especially in the summertime once you kind of had an opportunity to kind of see it all work together. It's fun to see. It's fun to experience. It's a joy to listen to Liam Cohen talk in his press conference. He's respectful. He's got great information. And I think the foundation of a lot of that is that they realize that this is an entertainment business. It's a competitive business, but it's also an entertainment business. And Liam is very open and honest and transparent, I think is a term that's used a lot of times, but I don't want to use that term too much because it's not like he's giving away any kind of game secrets. It's not kind of the purpose of that. But I think he's very respectful to the fans, very respectful to the media, and it shows. And I think the fans appreciate that. He's a very likable guy. I don't think there's any doubt that they made the right hire. I'll never forget talking to Tony after all of this kind of happened when they hired Liam and they hired James, and it was all a done deal. He said to me at the time, he says, he goes, I remember when we helped make that decision, he goes, I felt very strongly about it. And he goes, and then after the OTAs and through the training camp, he said, I feel more strongly about it now than ever. And obviously he has a front row seat to it and is involved in a lot of day-to-day conversations with James and Liam. And, and I've always trusted Tony's judgment. So I appreciate where this organization is at. And obviously winning has to follow. And right now, I think there's reason to feel good about where this franchise is at and where it's heading.
Yeah, it's reason to believe if the ref didn't have his head in a place it shouldn't have been located, that the Jags would be 3-0 right now, as a matter of fact, right? I mean, honestly, yeah. Change nothing else. It's because that's one of those, when you make that call, if you don't call that, if you call it properly, which we believe would have been no pass interference, game's over. because you're not going to screw up a kneel down, right? There's nothing else you needed to do as the Jags other than kneel it out at that point. So that was a call that basically gave Cincinnati life that I don't think they should have had.
Well, I think there's a thing that exists in the National Football League. And, for example, if there's a great player is going to get calls, right? I mean, Michael Jordan used to get calls playing basketball.
Of course.
The great teams get calls. The Kansas City Chiefs will get calls because the human nature perception is that, it must have been something that was illegal that happened because Kansas City didn't make that play work or whatever. And I think on the other end of that is that teams that are not good and haven't been historically good have to work harder to overcome some of those things. And to go back to that game in Cincinnati, that was a no call. Shouldn't have been called.
Mm-hmm.
This past game, there were 2 holding calls in the game. One of them was on Walker Little, and the other one was on Macari.
Yeah.
They weren't holds, but they were perceived as being holds. And so a lot of times, bad teams historically, the perception is that maybe it was a bad play by a bad team, right? And to me, you have to overcome some of that. And I think that's why Liam, after the Cincinnati game, talked at length to his team about we need to take it. We can't rely on other people. We need to take the wins. And so that's a great message to his team because it doesn't give them an excuse moving forward as to not winning games.
You could also argue, though, that they did take it, right? Like he made the play and that's it, right?
Yeah, where we are. But you don't want your locker room thinking anything like that because then it's counterproductive.
Well, and two, I could understand it more if that's Burrow to Chase, right? That is Browning to Yoshevitz right there. They didn't deserve any kind of consideration on that play.
No, it's just a terrible call by the official in the moment. And I think, Jeff, you had mentioned we've been talking a lot about the drops and the different things that have happened here through the first 3 weeks. And I know you mentioned the game plan for Houston defensively and kind of what it forced Jacksonville to do this week, right? They were trying to run. They were trying to keep that. They stayed committed to it in the second half. And those holding calls that you just mentioned kind of made them have to change what their plan was and what it looked like was about to work for the Jaguars offense. Well, 2 bogus holding calls. Now you're talking about long yardage situations for your offense where you didn't deserve that, right? Like the way you executed those plays, you deserved short yardage or first downs is what you had earned on those plays. But the officials take those opportunities away from you. And like you're talking about with the call by the official there in Cincinnati, that was then, right? Like that last play was the last play. We can't be stuck on that. Move forward, and it's a football team that we haven't seen be able to move forward from anything like that for a year and a half. Well, they did this week against Houston, against the team that has found weird ways to win in this building over and over and over again. They didn't let that happen this time around.
No. Now, and you go back to Cincinnati, you're kind of reflecting back. Reflect back and let's say that game in Cincinnati happened last year. We might be celebrating, it was a single possession game. We lost, close game. And no, you don't celebrate that because you didn't win at the end of the day. You recognize what you need to do to win those games, and that's exactly what Liam Cohen did. And I like his style. I think he's got a little edge to him. If people aren't fans or regular visitors of Jaguars.com, they need to be. Because the access has been more open and I think engaging for the fans better than it's ever been.
All right. It's funny. Just in regards to the guy calling about Trevor and his accuracy, the back-to-back reactions. And I feel like the fan base is like at this spot right now. One guy, it's credible that we continue to excuse Trevor being average at best. Guy immediately before that, this guy's an idiot if he thinks all these great quarterbacks always put it right in the chest, right? So it really, I do feel like there are 2 extremes on this topic right now, and there is definitely a subset that believes Trevor will never be the guy, and there's another subset that will excuse everything he does as somebody else's fault.
They say the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle.
And it's a big middle.
Yeah, he could be better, but it could be a whole lot worse.
All right, we'll come back with some final rapid-fire questions. I got a lot of them stored up here for Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday, and you can keep them coming in here at 641-1010 on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Got them in my house, needed them in my house, and I went with the best. Consumer Reports will tell you that Pella is #1 in all the major window categories. And right now, if you're looking to upgrade your home, you can get 0% financing for up to 72 months. That's 6 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Schedule a free consultation by going to PellaJacks.com or simply visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Jaguars Today Tuesday is serviced by Julington Creek Pest Control.
Southside Kia is now Kia on Atlantic. New name, new location, same great deals. And we're ready for you. We're going all out with end of summer savings, like new Kia starting at $20K. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Or you can even hit the road with financing rates as low as 0. It's not too late. Online at KiaOnAtlantic.com. Kia on Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. The online banking services are outstanding, so easy to use. Depositing checks through the mobile app is fast and efficient. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards for 3 years running, and it's easy to see why. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
What is 1010XL's Jeff Prosser's favorite movie? The answer next.
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Believe it or not, Jeff Prosser's favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Get ready. Monday Night Football is coming to Everbank Stadium October 6th. And this is a matchup you won't want to miss. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are throwing it back in their Prowler jersey as they take on the Kansas City Chiefs under the primetime lights. Don't wait. Be a part of the action. Get your tickets now by visiting us online at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at the bank for primetime football.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming over so quick.
Sure thing, pal. What's the big...
Whoa! See, I told you there was a smell.
Yeah, it smells like...
Exactly, or a dead one more like it.
You need some fresh air in here.
Well, this is the problem, Jason. I've kept everything sealed up tight all summer long so I don't lose all my nice cool air. Now all the dog smells and cooking smells and home gymnasium man cave smells are all building up and I can barely...
Dude, where are the Bueller sunglasses I gave you?
Oh, I don't know. They must be in my other...
Put on my emergency pair.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing can install an air purification add-on to your existing air conditioner. Clean the air of dust and pollen and funky smells while you cool.
So I can keep all the cool air I saved up?
And your place won't smell like a dead...
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Swing for the future of veterans and military spouses at Operation New Uniform's second annual Patriot Games Golf Tournament. I'm Michelle McManaman.
And I'm Pete Langlois. Join us Monday, October 6th. Register today at onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, coming down the stretch here with Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Logs have had a few questions about throwing the ball deep. Here's one from Brad on X. Why are we not taking deep shots specifically with Travis Hunter? Everything is a quick bubble screen with him. I'd love to see his athletic ability and speed be used to take the top off of defense.
Well, maybe they're trying to lull the opponents to sleep, and they're going to surprise them this week in San Francisco. I don't know. But the one thing that they did do this past game was take some deep shots, which I thought was more than they had taken than in the past. So that I really liked. Travis Hunter definitely has the speed to go deep, but is that something that you feel good about him doing? I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to watch as the season unfolds. It's still early.
Should Trevor have hit Diami on that one deep ball, overthrew him? I mean, I know it's tough to, for a mortal human to put the ball 50 yards down the field on somebody's numbers, but these are highly paid professional athletes.
That's one I think he'd like to have back.
You would think, right?
Yeah, but the thing that I didn't like was he nearly threw it over to the next defender. I think it was it CJ Gardner-Johnson that came from the other side a little bit late and was kind of at the ball when it hit the ground. I don't know if that's the ball you're talking about.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. Because the one I'm thinking of, I just think Diami had a step and a half, and there was no one beyond him, and it's much like, hey, I'm sure in Houston, and not that I care, they're going, man, if C.J. Stroud could have hit Christian Kirk, he had Jordan Lewis beat with about 35 seconds left in the game.
It would have had to been a perfect ball. But, yeah.
That's the NFL, right?
There.
I mean, he had him. I mean, the windows in the NFL are small, man.
There's no doubt.
You want to be a big-time quarterback.
I mean, there was a couple throws that I saw last night to 14 for the Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, that I thought were just pinpoint accuracy.
Oh, my gosh. The one he threw on fourth down.
My goodness.
Might have been the best. Well, the Herbert throw to Keenan Allen this week. Did you see that one?
I saw it.
That's absurd.
Money.
I mean, he bent his arm around the defender and then, almost seemingly bent the ball in midair into Keenan Allen's hands.
Hell of a catch, too, now.
That was a great play. He was under great duress, but the Jared Goff throw last night, man. Go back. If you didn't stay up and watch this one, folks. I mean, it's fourth down right around midfield.
Sick.
And they kind of hide Amon-Ra on the right side of the formation, and he sneaks out, and they grab him and hold him. So it would have been a first down anyway in the penalty, but then, I mean, just had to be perfectly placed, like 25 yards downfield, just dropped it in the bucket.
Well, and it's one of those plays, Jeff, where it's a picture of why when we talk about receivers blocking, it can become so important. Because Baltimore, because of the play action, they were reacting like Amon-Ra was a blocker, right? And he played the part on the play that he was getting ready to block, and then boom, got into his route and created the opportunity for that kind of play to be there. Like, all these things play off one another within a game, and when a quarterback gives your guy a chance to make a play like that, good on both of them, man, for making it happen.
It's pretty cool because of the game plan with Detroit with Amon-Ra St. Brown is that, Amon-Ra's a very willing blocker. And he's strong as all get out now. I mean, the guy's dad was a bodybuilder, and supposedly Amon-Ra is just a weight room phenom. And when he goes down in the block, I mean, he's a legitimate, you better buckle your chin strap up a little bit extra if you're a defender. And so the way that they've kind of woven in the patterns that can get him look like he's a blocker, and then all of a sudden he's not, and then he's slipping out doing things, I think is being a great offensive coordinator and a great offensive mind and utilizing a guy's strengths to also create another strength.
Logs, how do you think they match up with the 49ers? I know you haven't gotten deep into the San Francisco tape yet, but just in general, what do you think the Jags can be successful at this weekend?
I think the Jaguars can match up with anybody. The way they're playing right now defensively, and if their offense can get back to what they looked like against Cincinnati, I think they can play with anybody. And I think they can beat anybody. It's got to be a good day against some teams because there's a couple elite teams out there, but I think they can play with anybody. 49ers are not what they were a couple years ago when they were just one of the elite teams in the National Football League. They're a good team.
They're not, but they're like, we would be, man, we beat them, a couple of teams with backup quarterback play, and I mean, we're 3-0. We'd be feeling great about ourselves, right? I'm sure the Niner fans are just counting the days until they get healthy.
I'll feel really good about it if Mac Jones is playing.
They're not beating us with Mac Jones. I agree with that. Who knows if he's even healthy enough to play? But I'm not trying to be critical of him, but he's not. He's not Brock Purdy.
He's not Brock Purdy.
No, I agree, 100%. And we already know Bosa's out for the year, and we'll see about Juwan Jennings this week. Kittle's down, no Ayuk. That's a lot of offensive skill power and their top defensive player as well. All right, before we say goodbye to Jeff Lageman, let's say hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, hello, Matt Hayes.
Y'all aren't concerned that Mac Jones got a little something for his former teammates?
Mac. I like Mac. Just so he could because he's a hometown guy.
Right.
But he's one of those quarterbacks I believe you can get his feet a little bit unsettled.
Right. Yeah.
We got a few guys that can get some feet unsettled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd agree with that.
So what's coming up today?
We got our coach, Mark Duffner's on the way. He's going to break down last weekend's big win, and we're going to get into a little college football. We're going to do our first XLP to the CFP, our first ranking of the top 12 teams.
All right.
College football.
Should be interesting to see where Miami comes in. I'm sure for Leon, they're right at the top.
By the way, big game for you guys this week. Friday.
Florida State, Virginia.
I'm not playing. So, I mean,
it's Friday?
Yeah,
Friday.
It is Friday night.
Well, Friday night in Tallahassee?
No, it's in Charlottesville.
Is it? Okay.
That's got a little vibe of when Virginia broke the Florida State streak. Remember that? That was a Thursday night game.
You know what they say?
Let's not get
Tiki
carried
Barber
away.
ain't coming down
Let's
that
not
tunnel
get carried away.
anytime soon.
The one thing about Virginia, our NIL contributions are not very large.
Well, you should probably contribute.
Do something about it, Lawrence.
Not me, brother.
You can beat us in the Brain Bowl. I say us. I didn't go to Florida State. I just root for Florida State. So there you have it. Matt, have a good show.
All right, guys.
All right, there you go. Logs, where are we going to catch you this week?
Thursday, we have Jaguars Happy Hour and then Jaguars HQ. The Happy Hour is at 4 or 5 o'clock on HQ, which is with Tony Baselli and James Gladstone, the GM. And then at 7 o'clock, Strings, Jaguars All Access with Brent Martineau and a player to be announced. And then outdoor show Saturday and then game day on Sunday with you guys.
All right, sounds good, man. Safe travels out to the West Coast. And, you've been to that stadium before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Been to Levi's?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most beautiful stadiums. It really is.
Yeah, it's a nice stadium. It's a different world out there now. I mean, it's a stadium that's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of, I think, public transportation to get to that nowhere.
There's a lot of private suite money in that stadium. That thing is loaded with luxury boxes.
There's a lot of tech green.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. All right, that'll do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in to a Check the Tape Tuesday. John Ogier will join us tomorrow. We'll take a look at the San Francisco 49ers in a little bit more detail as they come up next on the schedule. For Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, and Jeff Lageman, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
He's all going to bring us at least 3 championships.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. The